The journey started many, many years ago, well before I needed the transplant, but I, became sick. And the need was immediate at first. When I was diagnosed, my GFR was quite low at the time. And there's a photo there with me in the ambulance, totally unbeknownst to me. I was not doing well with my kidneys. And I was told, hey, you need to look at finding a donor or, you are very close to starting dialysis. I count my lucky stars many times that, I was able to stabilize. And I did start that journey, and I utilized similar to, Teresa's point around, looking for friends. And mine was a little different just because I actually, how the world sometimes serendipitously happens. And I was watching the news one morning, and there was this young girl that had just received a kidney from her mother-in-law, and they were on global television, I think it was, hoping to win and they had to put their wedding off because of this kidney transplant. And I was like, wow, I need to meet this girl. That's amazing. And so I remember reaching out to the media outlet saying, I know you can't give me her info, but can you pass along mine? I just need to connect. And she was so wonderful. And she actually started a Facebook page for me initially. She's like, I'm going to help you do this. This is how I'm going to, help back. And this was a complete stranger who I had met once after connecting at a Starbucks. And she began my Kidney for Kate Facebook page. Fortunately, I was able to stabilize for some time, actually a number of years. And so the search kind of fell flat because I wasn't in the need at that moment. But people knew, and as I met people, they were, I very much made it aware. I got involved in the Kidney Foundation as a volunteer, educating people, sharing, just general, because I knew at some point I would be in need of a kidney again. Fast forward about 6.5 years, I met my lovely husband pictured here. He knew coming into our relationship that, I had kidney disease and the likelihood of a transplant would be needed. And he stuck around, so I'm thankful for him for that. And, so we were living our life and we wanted to start a family. And that was one of our goals. And my team was positive to that. And unfortunately, my body chose that it wasn't the right time for that part of my journey. And so some med changes didn't go well and my function started to decline. And so the need for the kidney was kind of rectified, like this needs to happen. No family right now, let's find you a donor. And so, this is, back a number of years now, over 7 years ago now, and putting that out. So I definitely, I have a lot of family and friends across Canada, especially. And so for me, sharing through social media was definitely a component. And I kind of just put it out there as, hey, many of you are aware or some may not. And here, again, very similar to what Jody and Christina shared, putting out the need, the why, all those sorts of things, and kind of leaving it out there. And the hard part sometimes, as anyone that's been in this process even for a little bit, you don't always know where people are at, depending on who steps forward. And that's really hard as a recipient. You're trying your best to, and you don't know if it's actually helping at all. Now, I guess in my case, I did know there was a few people getting tested, including my newlywed husband, which I am forever grateful. And I did put a lot of my eggs in his basket. And I remember him saying to me, Kate, I'm feeling, I'm as optimistic as you are that this is going to work. But we need to keep an open mind that, what if the answer is no? And I kept all the eggs in his basket, trust me. But, the reality was there. And who knew the man I had just married the year before would also be my kidney match. So, again, sharing that information, I knew there was friends and family that had stepped forward to my knowledge. Again, I have no idea how far or those sorts of things, but sharing my story through social media, through conversations, friends of ours sharing the story, it just provided, again, that education and the knowledge around that. And so very fortunately, 7 years ago in September, he donated his juicy left kidney. We have been able to go on and have 2 beautiful children who are pictured there in the one corner of that. And so I'm forever grateful that, my journey doesn't stop just after transplant. My involvement in the community, still letting people know, when important things things come up around organ donation because the likelihood is that I had my transplant in my 30s. There is a possibility, a high possibility, that I might need another one in my lifetime. And so continuing that, it doesn't stop even after transplant. So if I was to give you guys anything today is, take one day at a time, right? We can't accomplish everything. As Jody and Christina said, it takes some time for donors to get worked up, but being open, vulnerable, and willing to share your journey, I think hopefully will help alleviate what can be considered a bit of a roller coaster experience.